Okay, we're recording now. Hi, everyone. So welcome to this cooking class. We're going to go through quite a lot of things today. We're going to be going through a few of the recipes that are in my book that you can actually use essential oils in as a replacement for herbs and for fruit flavorings and things like that. How many of you have my book or have heard of it? No? Neither of you? Well, I've actually got 25% off until the end of May, which is finishing tomorrow. And there's a coupon code I can pop into the chat at the end. It's not a sales pitch particularly, it's just that I'm going to be going through a few of the recipes out of my book. And I also have written down a list, which I previously hadn't done. I just knew that I had put a lot of recipes into my book that you could use essential oils in, and actually going through it, I could have put essential oils in a whole lot more of them. So I'm going to tell you how you can actually substitute herbs and spices that you may not have for essential oils, and also your lemon juice and things like that, how you can actually use essential oils instead of that. So I've handwritten a whole big list, and the essential oils that I use in my book in cooking, and the ones that I use mostly are spice oils like cinnamon and clove. I use ginger in my cooking a lot. I use lime and lemon as my citruses. I use them quite a lot in lots of recipes, and wild orange as well. I use peppermint to flavour chocolate and bliss balls and things like that, which is really, really nice. 1 drop of peppermint oil is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So it's really, really strong. It's great for your belly, and it can give your chocolate, if you're a chocolate lover, a really great flavour. We also use black pepper. So I really like to season my food with salt and pepper. And I love that the black pepper gives it such a strong peppery flavour. We're really lucky with doTERRA that we have a couple of peppers. We have the pink pepper and we have the black pepper. And the black pepper is actually in our cooking essentials box, our gourmet cooking box, which you can get a few of the essential oils that you regularly use in food all in one box as a starter kit. What else do I use? And the herb oils. So thyme and oregano. There are about 6 or 7 herb oils. We have marjoram and basil and lots of different things. I use basil for medicinal purposes. I like to use them to support my ears and to support my children's ears. And seasonal support as well. Trying to be as compliant as I can be with this class. But yeah, the oregano and the thyme, particularly in meat dishes. So you can use them, if you're a vegetarian, you can use them to flavour your roast vegetables and in salad dressings and things like that as well. So they're the main ones that I use in cooking all the time, and I've got them used repeatedly throughout the recipes of my book. I haven't counted yet, so 14 recipes actually state that you can use essential oils in them, and I use 10 essential oils throughout the book. So some of the ones that I use essential oils in are things like I mentioned, the bliss balls and flavouring chocolate. I also use them in my dips. So I use them in hummus, in mayo. The hummus is really lovely, and I'm going to give you a few different alternatives. So I've got the basic hummus recipe in my book, but I'm going to give you a few other alternatives on how to make different flavoured hummus dips. So if you want to bring out something special at your next party, or gathering with friends, you can use beetroot in it, you can use sweet potato, you can do a pea hummus. There are, lots of different ways that you can differently flavour your hummus dips to make it a bit more interesting. And it's really, really healthy to do that. I use my essential oils in salad dressings. So we all need to eat lots and lots of vegetables. It's really healthy to do that, we know that, but it can get a bit boring. So to be able to keep it interesting every day, I'm really surprised looking through my book that I haven't put fennel oil in my book, because I actually use fennel and lemon together in a salad dressing all the time. But it was, I had to narrow it down, and I could have put thousands of recipes in this one book, but I narrowed it down to there's about 138 recipes in there. The fennel salad dressing didn't make the cut, but I was surprised when I looked back through it. So we're going to go through a few of those things, and I'm going to give you my raw chocolate recipe as well, which is really, really easy, and we're going to discuss a few nice flavourings for that. But I am a functional medicine health coach, qualified. I've been a personal trainer for 10 years and a massage therapist, and I'm very, very interested in all aspects of health and wellness. I don't like to say I, promote any one diet or any one different thing. I like to look at everything holistically, and I like to treat people as a whole. So I don't focus on symptoms, I focus on the whole person. So the essential oils have really been a blessing to our life in regards to our children, and that's how I came into using them. I've got 3 children, and they've all had special needs at one point in time. Our eldest daughter is 9, and she has a rare type of epilepsy. She also has narcolepsy, ADHD, and she's on the spectrum. She is a high-functioning, beautiful little girl, a caramello koala, cuddly little thing, and she is living in her happy little bubble. And we use nutrition as medicine for her, and which we've had great results. We also use epilepsy medication, and we see a neurologist, and we do all of the things, but we combine it all in a really good blend, and we've gotten really good results with her. Our son is on another diet altogether, and he has also been healed through healing his gut and healing through food as well. So that's why food is so important to me, and I've made it my whole life's mission to enjoy it, you know, and enjoy the process. Our littlest daughter was lucky to survive a rare virus that she caught just after she was born, and she's thrived ever since. And she luckily has only got lactose intolerance, but which is quite easy compared to the other 2. But yeah, she makes up for it in sass, and she's full of beans and full of attitude, like a little 6-year-old. But yeah, very happy little healthy little kids now. So that's a bit about us, and yeah. I support quite a large team with dōTERRA, and yeah, it's my full-time job to support people and educate and continue that education and love of the oils and ways to use them in everything, everything you possibly can. Okay, so who is ready for the chocolate recipe? Yes? Okay, so this makes quite a bit. You can use this as a topping to a slice. So just, I'm really bad with measurements. I'm going to give you the actual measurements for the recipe, don't worry. But the size of the pan, I think brownie pans are usually those square pans. They're all pretty much the same size, aren't they? So this is going to be enough chocolate to completely cover a brownie pan size slice. Or you can use it to dip 2 punnets of strawberries. This would be enough to dip 2 punnets of strawberries in, and then you can lay them on parchment paper and put them in the fridge. Or you can use, well, you know, Bob's your uncle, you can just eat it with a spoon, I don't care, whatever you like. So you can use 1/3 of a cup of coconut oil, the kind of coconut oil that doesn't stay liquid. We're talking just the regular extra virgin coconut oil. 1/3 of a cup of raw cacao powder, and 1/3 of a cup of maple syrup. If you would prefer to use another sweetener, you can. But yeah, you'll just have to play around with it. My original recipe uses maple syrup. I like to use the you know, genuine 100% maple syrup, and yeah, that tastes delicious. If you're on a no sugar diet, then you could use, say, a liquid stevia or something like that as well, or instead, I mean. So third, very easy to remember that. Mix it all together. Do you have a Thermomix? Hands up if you've got a Thermomix or some type of cooking device. Or if you want to do it on the stovetop, you can just do this in a straight into a pot. It's not like regular chocolate that you need to have it in a bowl over the top of a boiling water, have it in a double boiler sort of situation, because it's just mixing it till it's melted. You're not cooking it, you don't let it boil and that sort of stuff. It usually takes me about 2 to 3 minutes on 50 degrees in a Thermomix on a low speed, speed 1. And then once it's all mixed together and melted together and it's an even consistency, and the coconut oil has melted through, then you just add your essential oils. So if I'm flavoring the chocolate to dip my strawberries in, then I really like to use wild orange. I really love the wild orange flavor. Lime is also nice, but any of those kinds of citrus ones are nice with the strawberries, or really any fruit. Just be careful if you're using frozen fruit, because as it defrosts a little bit, when you start to dip dip it in the chocolate, it's going to add that water to it, and the chocolate may not stick to the fruit. So what you can do if you want to, and you're not opposed to sugar, is you can actually roll the frozen fruit in a little bit of icing sugar or something like that, just a really, really thin dusting so that it dries it out a little bit, and then you can dip it in the chocolate and it will stick a little bit better. So that's a good option. But you could also dip your banana pieces in chocolate. So what are some essential oils that you think would go really nicely with banana for a healthy treat? I also like the wild orange with it. So more of those sort of fruit flavors go really nice. You could even use lemon. Yeah, so yeah, lime, yeah, any of those sort of fruit flavors go really nicely with banana. And then you can put it on the parchment paper on a tray and then stick it into the fridge. If you've got that time to wait, it'll take about an hour or two to completely harden. And if you don't have time to wait and you've really got to quench that chocolate craving, put it in the freezer and it'll be ready to go in about 15 to 20 minutes. So this is something that I do when I've got a bit of a chocolate craving, and I put it on just as I'm finishing up dinner, and then by the time I've cleaned up the kitchen and got everyone organised, they're ready to go. You can also make it a little bit more interesting by adding a tablespoon of peanut butter or almond butter to the recipe, and that's also a really nice flavour, especially with the banana pieces. Another really good recipe that I like to use this chocolate for is with dates. So this is going to change your life. If you like dates and if you like Snickers and things like that, this is amazing. This is a really, really nice treat, and one is enough. You know, so it's not like you're going to be wanting to hoe down the whole, tray of them in one sitting. You just can't. It's rich and it's enough sweetness to take the edge off that craving, and it's full of nutrients and good vitamins and minerals. So get one of your fresh medjool dates. Gently take the seed out. Then you're going to get a walnut, a whole or a half a piece of a walnut. Pecans are also nice for this recipe, but I like to use walnuts. Roasted, caramelized, however you like them, or just natural, that's fine. Put it inside the date and close it up again, and then roll it in the melted chocolate mixture. And then you can roll it in a bit of coconut, desiccated coconut if you like, and then place it onto the baking paper and set it in the fridge. I'm not even kidding. This is going to change your life. It is so delicious. It's all natural, whole foods ingredients, and good for you. You know, yes, it does have the fruit sugars. So obviously, don't eat the whole thing, but you're not going to want to. It's enough. 1 or 2 is enough. So that's a few different ways that I like to use that raw chocolate recipe. And or like I said, you can just eat it with a spoon. Okay, so the hummus recipe. So traditional hummus has got chickpeas in it, and tahini, olive oil, things like that. If you don't have chickpeas, and they were hard to find throughout the pandemic, if you don't have the chickpeas, then you can actually replace that with cashews. So cashews, and then you can add in any other, you don't need to use the whole amount that you would in the chickpeas, about 3/4 of the amount as cashews. But you can replace that with some beetroot. You know, in the supermarket, you can actually get 3 or 4 in a vacuum sealed pack of the beetroot that are already peeled and ready to go. I like to use those just for less handling and less preparation when you're making dips. They're also a little bit softer and they're ready to go. So I will put 2 of those beetroots that are prepared in with 3/4 of the amount of chickpeas. I'm pretty sure the recipe calls for a 400-gram can. So you're going to use around 300 grams, 250 to 300 grams of cashews, and then all the other same ingredients, and blend it all up, and then you've got a beetroot hummus dip, and it's delicious. Okay, you can do the same thing with sweet potato. So in saying about the beetroot, it's around half to a cup of beetroot. So you're going to use about that much of the vegetables of whatever alternative you like to use. So you can do the same with cooked and cooled sweet potato. That's a really nice alternative as well. You can do the same thing with avocado. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so you can just change it up with whatever vegetable you like to swap it out with. Peas are a really good one to do as well. I do have a spiced pea dip in my book, which I highly advise. It is delicious. I do often make that and eat it with a spoon. It's really, really yummy. But yeah, you can use any kind of vegetable that you really like, even cauliflower, if you like that, or broccoli. Broccoli and avocado together is really nice. Just try not to cook the broccoli or the cauliflower too much. That sort of half cooked is really nice in dips because you want that fresh, vibrant flavour in the dip. So yeah, then you've got so many different alternatives when you look at it like that. You can replace the chickpeas, or you can even add the chickpeas and bulk out the dip a little bit more with adding the vegetables into it. And then you're going to be getting so much more nutrition out of that dip. And people are going to be going, what is in this? This is amazing. Oh, it's just my secret little recipe. So some of the essential oils that I like to use in my dips are cilantro and coriander. I know coriander is not everybody's cup of tea, but I really, really, sorry, we've got something in the chat here. Oh yeah, I really like coriander. I really do. What you're going to find with using coriander and cilantro in cooking is that cilantro is more like, cilantro essential oil is more like the coriander herb, dried herb that you would have in your cupboard. It's going to taste in your food more like that. Because cilantro comes from the leaf, whereas coriander comes more from the root of the plant. Okay, coriander is more of an earthy kind of flavour. Yeah, so really beneficial. It's got so many great qualities as far as for your health, but it's something that you might add to a dish where you are using a few different things. Whereas when you want that real coriander flavour, like in your avocado or guacamole or something like that, you would use the cilantro instead. You wouldn't need to use one whole drop of cilantro in a 1 to 2 person serve of guacamole because it'd be too much. So you're probably wondering, how would you get less than a drop if you don't have pipettes and things like that? What you can do is actually put a toothpick into the top of the bottle. In these bottles, we've actually got a little orifice reducer cap and there's a hole in the top. So you can put a toothpick in the top of that and just dip it to the side a little bit and then stir that toothpick through your dish. And that's going to be less than a drop. I can't tell you exactly how much less than a drop it's going to be because it's not a very accurate measurement, but it works. It definitely works to give it that little bit of a flavour, but without it being too overpowering. Some of the other oils that I like to use in dips are lemon oil. I really like to use lemon oil in the dips. And now the way that I use lemon oil in my mayo instead of fresh lemon juice is I actually use it with vinegar. So I use white vinegar. And then I use the 1 to 2 drops of lemon oil, and that is going to be the same amount of lemon juice, and it's going to chemically react in the food the same way that you would need the lemon juice to react. So it's just going to replace that chemistry, which is important. Some other oils that I really like to use in my dips are cumin. Now, cumin is not something you can actually buy regularly with doTERRA because it is a rare essential oil and it was limited stock. But when and if the special packs, I can't remember exactly what they're called, they've come out a few times, usually around Christmas and things like that. There are special packs that come out with the cumin in it. Grab it because it's not available all the time and it's something I use all the time in my cooking. It's got such an incredible strong cumin flavour, and I use that in a lot of my Mexican dishes, in my dips. I use it in my hummus. I use it in my guacamole. I use it in so many different recipes. And it's really got such a beautiful flavour. And did I mention black pepper? I use black pepper and pink pepper a lot in my dips as well. So that'll just give it that really nice kick. Pink pepper I really like to use more so with my meat dishes and things that have a lot of vegetables in them. So stir fries and stuff like that. It does taste different. It's funny. It's kind of, pink pepper reminds me of when you get an Asian-inspired meal and it's got the whole peppercorns in it. You know how that sort of, or your peppercorn gravy, and it's got that really strong peppery flavour, whereas the black pepper to me is sort of like a replacement for your black powdered pepper that you sort of just added a pinch to. It's a bit hard to explain, but yeah, that's what I use it for. So if I want that real peppercorn flavour, I'll use the pink pepper, and if I just want to have a bit of salt and pepper, spice just a little bit to add to a meat dish, then I'll use the black pepper. Yeah. So that's a little bit about the difference. Okay, so before I go on with any more recipes, I think it'd be amiss if I didn't go through some of the safety and dilution. So first and foremost, do you never get the essential oils in your eyes, your ears, your pits, or your bits? If you do, you will be sorry, and you will probably never do it again. It's not going to kill you, let me assure you of that, but it's not going to be a very pleasant experience. We have all lived to tell the tale, me included. I have definitely done it before, especially when you're not using them on you. It's very easy to forget that they may be on your fingers. So when you're using essential oils in your cooking, just remember the essential oil could be on the lid, or on the bottle. And it's a really good practice to, when you've handled your essential oil bottle, to just pop the lid on, put it away, and then wash your hands with soap and water. Okay, soap and water will get rid of the essential oil, and especially underneath your fingernails, just like when you're preparing chili. Even when you wash your hands with soap and water, sometimes it can still be underneath your fingernails. So if you're handling oregano or thyme, any of those really hot herb oils, it's a good idea to give those fingernails a good scrub too. Not that I'm trying to tell you how to clean yourself, but it's from personal experience. I don't want you to go through that as well. If you do ever get any essential oils into your eyes or bits that you don't want them to be in, so water on its own will not wash it out. You're going to need to get some regular cooking oil, whatever oil you've got plain oil sitting around, coconut oil, olive oil, anything, onto a tissue or a paper towel and just wipe, wipe, wipe. It's a really good makeup remover too. So just be careful not to do that before you go out. Yeah, so that will get the essential oil out very, very quickly. If you're splashing your eyes with water, it's just going to make it spread. So use the carrier oil or coconut oil or anything like that on a tissue and just wipe it out of your eyes. As far as safety, with essential oils in cooking, you're not going to be using too much because the flavor would be too intense. So we're talking 1 drop of oregano per 1 to 2 kilo mince-sized bolognese cauldron. You know, you're not using very, very much at all. There is absolutely no way that if you're using essential oils in cooking, you can overdose or it can be too much for even a newborn baby. There's just no way, because the flavor, too much of the flavor would stop you from using, you know, too much of the essential oil. So you can be rest assured that you know, you're going to be safe to use the essential oils in your cooking. Now, I did want to go through a few essential oils that you should not use in your cooking, to just be aware, and this is recommended to us by doTERRA themselves. I'm just going to bring it up here. So arbor vitae, cedarwood, cypress, Douglas fir, eucalyptus, spikenard, and wintergreen. There's only 7 essential oils that doTERRA have that you cannot use internally. And obviously that extends to those ones being in blends. Now you might look at eucalyptus and say, oh, hey, but a lot of people use on guard in their recipes and take it internally and things like that. And that's simply because we have 3 eucalyptus varieties. The eucalyptus variety that we use on its own is not able to be taken internally. But the eucalyptus variety that is actually in on guard is able to be taken internally. So that one's not going to harm you in any way, but the one that is on its own is not recommended to take internally. I highly advise everybody to do their own research with these, and you can sit wherever you're comfortable with the ingestion of essential oils, but pretty much most of them outside of those are able to be taken internally. A lot of them you wouldn't want to flavour your food with just because of the smell and the taste of them. But most, you know, the herbs, the citrus, and some of the floral oils, the spices, they're ones that I use regularly and they taste good, you know, to use all the time. Okay. So that was just a little bit about that. And if you've got any further questions, we have got heaps of doTERRA ebooks available on the doTERRA US website. So you can feel free to download any of those at any time. There's plenty of information there. Or you can always reach out to me and I'd be happy to share any more research or information with you. Okay. So some substitutes for herbs and essential oils. Like I said, I only put essential oils, I only wrote essential oils into 14 of my recipes in my book. But looking through and writing that list for this class, I actually realized that I could have replaced herbs and spices and citrus in, you know, 5 times more recipes in my book. I don't know actually why I didn't, what the thought process was about that. But anyway, so if you're looking through my book or through any recipe really, and it says to use 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of dried essential oil, dried herb, you can replace that for 1 drop of essential oil. Okay, but bear in mind the flavour is a little bit different. It's very intense and you can definitely taste it on its own. So when you're using it in cooking. If you add the essential oil at the beginning of the meal, and you cook it for a while, a lot of the medicinal properties and benefits are going to be cooked out of it, but you're still going to retain the flavour. If you use the essential oil at the end of the meal after it's already cooked and it's starting to cool down a little bit and it's not still boiling away or bubbling away on the heat, then you will retain a lot of the medicinal properties. So the essential oils can be used in both ways. When you're replacing the herbs, just think about that, whether you're using the herbs you know, for the flavour mainly or for the medicinal properties as well. And that will tell you when to add them into your dish. I was saying about how they're such a strong flavour on their own. And what I mean by that is that when I'm making a bolognese, say, I'm not going to put a drop of basil, a drop of marjoram, a drop of oregano and every single dried herb as an oil into my dish, because it would just be way too much flavour. It would be basically like eating a bowl of herbs with a bit of meat on the side. So what I actually do is I use 1 drop of the oregano oil. So it's got that beautiful Italian flavour, but then I use a little bit of the dried herbs of basil and marjoram and parsley and a few other things as well. Just so it's got that little bit of a mild, you know, I don't know what the word is, but it's just got a bit more of a broader flavour than just the oregano on its own. I have tried using a drop of each of the essential oils before, and it's just too much for my family. So play around with it. It's like anything, you know, when you first start cooking, you're going to make it exactly how the recipe tells you to. And then each time you go back to it, you're going to put your own little flavour into it. And, you know, your husband or your partner might say, oh, I don't like a lot of herbs. And so you'll cut back on that next time. Or, you know, somebody says, oh, I don't like it too saucy. And then you'll cut back on that next time. You know how your family and how you like things. So it's a very personal journey. And that's just my personal experience with using the herb oils in my meat dishes. Another way that you can use oregano and your herb oils is to flavour oils. So your cooking oil. You can even make little sample size bottles of olive oil with a drop of oregano in it or a drop of basil, and make your own infused olive oils to add into your cooking. And that's a really, really nice way to use them as well. It creates a bit more of a mild flavour through the dish, and yeah, it's a really interesting way you can brush your Turkish bread or your focaccia bread and toast it, and have, you know, garlic and oregano or garlic and thyme infused olive oil on toasted bread or something like that as well. So herbs, it's around half to 1 teaspoon of the dried herb is 1 drop of the essential oil. Fresh herbs, it's around 1 to 2 tablespoons of a fresh herb is 1 drop of the essential oil. As far as spices are concerned, most recipes, say if we're talking about ginger, you know, you would use about 1 to 2 centimetres. They usually talk about, in a recipe, 1 to 2 centimetre piece of ginger chopped up into a stir fry or something like that. That would be 1 drop of ginger. Yeah. You're only going to make it wrong once, right? I would err on the side of caution though. If you haven't had experience with using essential oils in cooking, it's like salt. You're not going to just pour in a whole heap of salt and potentially ruin the meal. You're going to add a little bit. So it's a good idea to add a drop of ginger or a drop of cinnamon or a drop of whatever oil you're using into a tablespoon of olive oil into a little petri dish on the side, and then just pour a little bit in at a time. Once you've got the desired flavour that you're after, then you stop, right? So that's a really good little tip that I would use when you first start, and until you realise, you know, how much you like for each recipe that you normally make. What haven't I covered there as far as the substitutes? I think that's pretty clear. Yeah, we're all pretty good with that. Yeah, awesome. All right, so now just a few of my salad dressing recipes. Yeah, do you guys eat salads? Yeah, like them? Yeah, not a lot of people like, or not everybody likes salad dressings. Some people are just happy to just have a, you know, drizzle of olive oil and things like that. And truth be known, most of the time I'm fine with that. But every now and then it does get a bit boring, and I like something, you know, with a bit of a different zing or a flavour to it. So here are a few of my favourite ways to jazz up a salad. So especially salads that have fish in them, I really like to pair with lemon. So what I'll do is I will actually use on a tuna or a salmon or a sardine salad. I will use half a teaspoon of seeded mustard. You can use more if you like, but I'm just talking about a single serve. So half a teaspoon of seeded mustard. I'll use a tablespoon of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. I like the Cobra brand one. It's always very fresh. It's got a good flavour. And then I will use a drop of lemon oil and a splash of apple cider vinegar. Get a good quality one. Usually the one that I use in my salad dressings, where I'm going to be tasting the flavour of it, like in a salad dressing, I like to use the one that's organic and it's got the mother in it. The 2-litre apple cider vinegar that you can get is good when you're needing a large amount, say when you're cooking a sauce or something like that. So yeah, and just a splash of apple cider vinegar into that and give it a mix, and that's a really good salad dressing for a fish salad. So if I'm making something, you know, and it's got, you know, pork or chicken or something like that in it, I really like to use fennel. So I will use that same recipe, but instead of the seeded mustard, I will replace that with 1 drop of fennel oil. if you haven't played around with fennel that much, it's a really interesting one, because fennel tastes like licorice, as you probably know. It tastes a little bit like aniseed. But when it's paired with a citrus, and then you've got the meat flavour, and then you've got the flavours of the other vegetables, it just blends and complements everything so nicely. It's really hard to imagine if you haven't played with that before. So I really, really like it. And that's a really good one as well. You can also do the same lemon and fennel with the olive oil and the apple cider vinegar, and you can substitute the lemon for lime. So lime and fennel is a really nice way, and they play really, really nicely with each other. So there's a few alternatives for that. They're pretty much most, or even orange, wild orange and fennel is a really nice one as well. Yeah, and that's nice with chicken and with fruit. Say if you had like a chicken and mango salad or something like that, you know, and you're playing with those kinds of flavors. You can get pomegranate arils as well to sprinkle on. So the pomegranate with the wild orange and fennel flavored salad dressing, it can make something really easy sound really fancy, and it's a really nice flavor explosion as well. So I know these flavors aren't for everybody, but yeah, it's a really nice way to be able to jazz it up a little bit with what you've already got with the oils. Has anybody got any other suggestions there? Do you use any of the essential oils in your salad dressings at the moment? No? Yay, super. A few more to play with now, which is awesome. Obviously, you can also use your herb oils. But when I make a salad dressing just for myself, I'm really blessed to be able to work from home. So most of the time I'm making lunch for myself as I'm eating it, as I need it, and just make myself some lunch. And so a lot of these salad dressings I'm making just for myself. That's why they're single serve size ones. But I like to use also lemon and marjoram together as a salad dressing. So if I'm using leftover roast beef or leftover lamb, I like this with my red meats. I will use 1 drop of marjoram, 1 drop of lemon oil with a tablespoon or 2 of the extra virgin olive oil and a splash of the apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is a really good prebiotic for your body. So it's a food that your gut bacteria really like to eat, and it helps to support the growth of healthy gut bacteria. So that's why I like to use apple cider vinegar in my salad dressing, and extra virgin olive oil is excellent brain food. It's one of the 7 most important things to have on a daily basis for a healthy brain. So that's another reason why I like that extra virgin olive oil. Okie dokie. So we've been through quite a lot of recipes. You've probably written a book yourselves now at home with notes. Appreciate you being on the class today, and I hope that you've learned a lot. Thank you very much, guys. Feeling paranoid, thinking you might be around.